I've been saving this one up. This is a real good one. Probably one of the top highlights of the whole adventure, my time on the road. I did a lot of my walking at night when it was cooler, and partly because normally they don't let you sleep during the night. If the police see you, they consider that vagrancy, whereas you can sleep on the beach during the day, and that's just laying out in the sun. So I'd walk at night, and I was doing those beaches south of Long Beach, which I'm not sure if I'm going to get this right, but it's something like Seal Beach, Sunset Beach, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, and then down toward the end is San Clemente and San Onofre. But this was after I had walked down to Huntington Beach, and I believe it was maybe early afternoon, that I decided to get in the shade of the pier and catch a few hours nap. And as I'm laying there, starting to drift off to sleep, I hear voices, and it's not real loud, but they're kind of excited, and I hear running, and then what sounds like climbing on the pier itself. And while some of this is happening, sand is dropping down in my face. I've got my eyes closed, so I'm not really looking at anything. I'm trying to sleep. But the sand was like the last straw. There's no way I can sleep. And so I decided I better get up and see what's going on. And I somehow controlled an angry response, which I kind of felt at the time, I guess, and just went over fairly innocently to see what was going on. And it was a bunch of high school kids, I guess. Some might have been a little older, a little younger. But they were all running up the beach from the ocean and then climbing up on the pier and then running back out to the end of the pier. And when they ran out to the end of the pier, they jump off the pier into the ocean. Then they swim back up the beach, up to the beach, run up the beach, climb up the pier, run out to the end of the pier again. And they were doing this over and over again, like it was the best thing since sliced bread. And so when I asked them what they were doing, they explained it. I saw then that they were going out to the end of the pier, jumping off and swimming back into shore and running up the beach and climbing up the pier and running back out the pier again. And it was a shortcut rather than running all the way back up to the beginning of the pier where they could get onto the pier and run back down the pier. They would just run up about halfway the length of the pier, climb up the pier, and then run out to the end again. So they were saving themselves a considerable amount of extra running by climbing up the pier halfway. And just happened I was trying to sleep right there. Anyway, so I gung-ho climb up the pier with them and run out to the end of the pier with them. And I'm watching one after the other jump off, and some of these are little kids. I mean, they're shorter than me, and a few older kids that I don't think any of them were probably in their middle 20s. I probably was, I think, 25 at the time, so I was probably the oldest one in the group. But they're all excited, and they were saying, "Oh, sure, come on, there's nothing to it. You know, all you got to do is just close your eyes and jump off the end." And so I decided I had to do it, and climbed over the railing and was standing on the other side of the railing holding, the railing behind me. And I just basically closed my eyes. I did one of those where you just go down feet first, It was a fairly good drop to the water at that point. It's probably 15, maybe 20 feet to the water. And we were at least, 50 feet, 100 feet. Probably more than 100 feet from the shore. But I just closed my eyes, held my nose, and just let go. Sort of stepped off and let my feet go first. And somewhere between that point, that moment, and the water, I must have passed out. I must have been in such fear, such shock. I mean, I faced it anyway, you know. It's one of those things where you take the step and then let the events occur as they may occur. Gravity do its work. But somewhere between that point and the water, I passed out. I guess it was out of fear. I don't know. But it was a cold shock of the water that kind of woke me up. I mean, I kind of don't remember from when I let go of the pier to the actual splashing into the ocean. But I remember shortly thereafter realizing that I'm going down in the water. And because I hadn't angled my body or anything, I still was going straight down. I was actually going down pretty far. I mean, I was going down at least a body length or two beneath the surface of the water before I kind of realized what was going on. You know, before you wake up enough to kind of go like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Okay. And I angled my feet out so that I didn't keep going down. I kind of stopped going down. But at that point, looking up, I'm like maybe at least 2 body lengths. I'm thinking 10 or 20 feet, maybe more under the water. And the shock of hitting the water and holding my breath and all of this probably only took a few seconds, but you get a little bit of a panic reaction being that far into the water anyway. And I start swimming to get back to the top and afraid I'm going to run out of air. And then I get back up there, come out, splash open into the open air, and everything's fine. And I swim into the shore. And at that point I just decided, well, that was an adventure. That was exciting, but it's not really my cup of tea. So I didn't do it anymore. But by then I had friends. All of a sudden now I've got a ready-made army of these little guys. Not real little. A lot of them are at least teenage, if not 18, 20s. Guys that were doing this now kind of patting me on the back and laughing at me and just laughing with me and having a good time. But sort of, I passed my rite of passage or whatever with them, among them, to sort of be accepted. And so then they start waving me, inviting me on up to the parking area, which is further up off the beach, and basically invite me to join them to have some beers. And I jumped off that pier. I jumped off that pier. Right into that cold, cold Pacific Ocean water. And as I was going down, I slowly realized I was still going straight down. I was 20 feet under the water before I even started to level back off. Sticking my feet out and slow my descent. And then I had to swim back up to the surface. But I made it. Popped out of the water laughing. The others were all laughing too. Swam back to the shore and got back out, but that was the only jump I made that day. Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach. Seal Beach. Sunset Beach. Huntington Beach. Newport Beach. Laguna Beach. San Clemente. San Onofre. Huntington Beach. Jumped off the pier. Jumped off the pier. Jumped off the pier. Huntington Beach.